Hello everyone, welcome back to some more F1 Esports Challenger action here today, and this is it then. It's the finale, the very last race of the series, and I've enjoyed it. It's been good fun, stepping up to this competition as a reserve in the last moment. It's been fun, something different, in terms of a challenge for me, and I've really enjoyed it. And you never know, this might not be the last time you see me in this, because I feel like maybe in the future I might pursue this. You never know. It all depends on if the time is right, the game suits me, I feel comfortable, if I'm fast, if I'm in a position and in a place in life where I can actually afford to kind of go for this kind of stuff. But nonetheless, I'll leave the previous race, guys, at USA linked in the top right. But now we're here for Abu Dhabi, and this is qualifying, and it's a one-shot qualifying. So this lap is all we've got, and we need to nail it, of course. At this point, we actually just finished the race at USA, so we were jumping into this race pretty, fresh and under practice for this one. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what the final lap times are in one-shot qualifying. Now, in practice for this race, I was actually quite confident about this one. My pace was quite strong here, and I was looking forward to this race more than USA, which was the round before. So there's a lot of reasons for me to feel quite confident and optimistic. I really thought, I had a good car, good setup, and good pace. But in terms of the one-shot qualifying, the lap in itself was quite poor and very scruffy, and you'll see here already just running way too deep into the back straight chicane, outbraking myself, losing time, all the way through that entire section. And just in general, the lap was very, very scruffy. The first target was to keep it clean. Track limits around Abu Dhabi are so tough, so you have to try and keep it clean. Again here, I outbrake myself, run a bit too deep on the brakes, which compromises my line throughout this entire next section, and pretty much summarises my lap. It just wasn't that great. A bunch of cars already getting disqualified or retiring due to track limits, and they're going to start from the back. So far, we're gaining, that benefit at least. We're not going to be at the back of the grid. We're just making sure we keep the car within the track limits. And now through the final few corners here, just making sure we don't throw the lap away. This corner right here, very sensitive to track limits, so keeping it well within bounds. And then the final corner through the apex on the exit curb, and then across the line we go. And it wasn't that great. We actually finished P12, and we was the slowest of those cars who set a lap time, which is quite surprising. My pace before, in practice, before the event, was actually quite strong. I was honestly hoping for like a low 32, but yeah, disappointing. The lap was scruffy, slower than I thought as well. I did think it was bad, but I didn't realize it was that bad. And my best lap time around here is a 32.0. So yeah, not ideal, or not where I wanted to be. Patrick and Alessio Di Capo are hitting a very sweet lap there. A 0.2 on a one-shot qualifying is a very good lap. Josh Adawu P3, and we're going to start from P12. So the good thing is we do get the benefit of the free tyre choice, so the alternate strategy could work well for us. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Let's jump into the race, and fingers crossed we can try and make the alternate strategy work. Here we are then in the race, looking at the strategy, and we're going to quickly lock in and confirm that medium to soft tyre strategy. I'm just trying to adjust my fuel to see what I want to use for the race, and I believe I'm going to go for about 1.2 laps in the end, if I'm not mistaken, as this track is quite, interesting for fuel consumption. There's two big straights, so you want to have, fuel to burn. But here we go then, the lights are on for the final time in the F1 Esports Challenger Series, and we are underway, and it's actually not the best start from us. It's not terrible, but it's not the best. Benzabo Konyi getting a great start on the outside, but luckily we send the car down the inside into turn one. There's a big old space, and we try to have a look at Sven Nöller, but no way through, and we have to kind of just back out a little bit as Benz tries to make the move around the outside of turn number 3 there. We're going to try and go nice and let the brakes into 4 to make sure he doesn't hit me. And at this point now, I'm trying to avoid a dive bomb into the hairpin, so I keep my car in the middle of the track, keeping it clean, but then we get a hit in the rear, someone giving us a big old tap there, and as a consequence, I lose a lot of momentum, and I pretty much lose all of the slipstream from the car's head, so I'm forced to drain all of my ERS here to try and, compensate and make up for that. You can see behind the cars are stacking up one by one, trying to make a move here as we go to the outside, defending another tap in the rear this time, I believe from Baena in the Red Bull, who of course we had a crash with in the previous race in USA. And yeah, Kevin now trying to keep the pressure on here. I have to use more ERS to try and keep up with the slipstream, of course, because twice in a row now on the exit we've had a hit in the rear. So not a good start, as now Hoglar goes off the track. I get distracted by that and pick up a warning for track limits, and I think he got spun out there. So yeah, a crazy lap one. The driving standards in this race, in my opinion, were pretty crazy. I am aware, I believe after the race, Sven Nöller did have some decent issues. But yeah, pretty much the first lap was so dirty all round, you know, car spinning out, twice getting hit in the rear, and it just wasn't good to see. Lap number 4 though, Josh Idawu in the pit lane, he's going to get rid of his soft tyres and switch to the medium, so he's going for a very early stop in the Mercedes and going for a bit of an undercut on the leaders. Meanwhile, we're going to stay out of course for a few more laps on these mediums and make use of the harder compound of tyre and see what the pace is like. You can see already a couple of penalties starting to stack up, you know, with cars around us, Mr. Anker and Iked Bainer. Lap 4 though, more cars into the pit lane, of course more people on the softs. Sven Nöller is the lead driver of mediums right now, we're second, so in terms of the race on the alternate strategy, we are P2 and this is fine for us right now. I just planned on sticking with Sven. I was well aware, and I could tell by the way he was, you know, pulling away from me in acceleration zones, he was draining his battery quite a lot. And I think he was trying to break my DRS, it wasn't really working though. Lap 5, Atte Kalpinen in the pit lane for, I believe, the AlphaTauri team, and a couple more cars as well. And that is going to make this race now P3 for us, with Alessio Di Capua out front. One more lap for him on the softs, going for quite a long stint on that first one. But nonetheless, as I mentioned before, Sven using quite a lot of ERS to try and, you know, drop me out of the 1 second window. And I could tell because you can see here, he really pulls away in the acceleration zone. I was well aware, so I wasn't really draining my battery too much. You can see now his light is starting to flash. So I know Sven has less than 10% ERS remaining. He still kept on pushing all the way into the pits. So yeah, Alessio Di Capua, he's in the pit lane now, so he's going to finally pit along with Sven Nöller. And we're going to take the race lead now for at least a lap, as we've got Iked Bainer right behind us here. And you can see on the radio, I just selected to box this lap. So this is going to be our in lap. So we need to make sure the pace is good. We keep a nice strong pace and make sure that we keep, let's say, a gap to the car behind in case we get stacked in the pit lane or held, and also try and make the overcut work, because obviously we're going longer, we're probably not going to be faster, so we need to make sure the pace is strong. And you can see now into the pit lane we go. I actually had a great pit entry, really good. I actually gained a bit of time on Bainer, who's just pit ahead of us there. So onto the soft tyres we go, and it's a fresh set of course, so the pace is going to be decent on those, and we're going to be hopefully trying to fight back through the field now. So here we are, pit exit, lap number 8, and we're going to be, it looks like P11, P12, so yeah, P12 for us as we get back into the action. A few more penalties now, so you can see Bainer's got 6 seconds, Kevin has one now as well, along with Mr. Anker, and I can already see in the distance Mr. Anker has no ERS left, so we're going to get straight to work on these tyres and make some overtakes. So towards the end of lap 8, you can see up ahead we've got Mr. Anker, who's just been overtaken by Kevin, and we've got a car off the track. I think some contact there between Sven Nöller and I want to say Atte Kalpinen, I think, in the distance. I can't quite tell. I can't see the name, but a bit of contact there as Sven completely turns in on me there through the apex. I was, you know, well alongside, and he just completely turned in on me. You can see he's got no ERS, his lights are flashing, so I know I've got an ERS advantage right now. So I just need to wait and be patient and use the ERS to get these moves done. We've got over 50%, which is plenty. So lap number 9, you can see here, Sven and Mr. Anker, I know they're both out of energy, so this is going to be a pretty straightforward overtake for us. I just got to try and make sure I time it right. So you can see they're both battling away, both side by side, and their lights are flashing. So we're just going to go through the middle here and use a bit of our ERS to try and squeeze through and make the move. And there we go, double overtake up into P10. Sven is going to, stupidly in many ways, try and re-challenge up the inside here, and gives me a bit of contact in the process, but I was having none of it. We go on the outside and make the move, and we're now P10 and into the points. Up next, we've got Norbert Jakob and Balash Kevin, so it wasn't Atte Kalpinen, so my bad for that one. They've both got time penalties, so we'll finish in P8 regardless, but I want to try and pass them on the track. So lap number 10, I had a couple of chances to get by. The pace was really strong, but I just couldn't seem to get past the double DRS effect. But now lap 10, you'll see here, we get a big hit in the rear. Sven Nöller again hitting me and completely outbraking himself. I believe he got big ring damage, and I think he actually ends up taking himself out of the race here, as you can see there. So yeah, a disaster race from Sven. Don't know what the hell he was doing today. Obviously he had desync, but even still, knowing he had desync, I think he should have driven a bit better. But nonetheless, ahead of us, we still got Kevin and Norbert Jakob battling away here. So I'm going to see if I can get by. You can see the light flashing on the Alpha, so again, we've got a bit of an advantage there. And this was the lap I was going to go for it, because I've had enough of kind of sitting back and just, you know, waiting or trying to drive clean, basically. So here we are, DRS enabled, using a bit of the ERS. Norbert Jakob goes defensive. He's still got some ERS left because his light isn't flashing, so good to know and bear that in mind. as Balashkovic makes a move around the outside. Nice little overtake from him. And you can see here we get a great exit using the fact that both of these guys are battling. And now I'm going to drain all of my ERS here. We've got a slight bit more than Norbert Jakob. We're going to make it 3 wide here into the brake zone. We're going to go the long way around on the brakes. Massive dive. We're still on the outside. We make the move. A bit of contact there, but we're through. We run off the track and get an absolute BS track extension warning there when, you know, literally we was battling. We had a bit of contact in the corner before, and it was just, you know, in a heat of battle, and I didn't even make the move because we were still side by side into the next apex. But nonetheless, we get the move done up into P8, a beautiful double overtake. We then got our 3rd warning, so that is actually a legitimate warning for track limits. And it seems like with the penalty, I actually got 2 warnings at once with that incident. So the penalty was BS. I could have got it removed after the race if I wanted to, but I don't really care too much because I'm not fighting for anything in this championship. All the way to lap 14 though, we managed to catch up to Ate Kalpanen and Jan Fehler. They were about 3 seconds ahead of us when we made the final overtakes, but 1 lap too late. You know, I needed 1 more lap to make the move here, but Jan Fehler is going to finish P7, Ate Kalpanen P6, and we finish in 8th place. Technically P7 because I don't have a penalty. I've got 2 warnings. The one with the penalty was absolute BS. So in my book, the way I see it, that is P7 for us in the final race in Abu Dhabi. So a decent recovery drive from P12 to P7 on the alternate strategy. Some good overtakes as well, a couple of double moves, which is great fun. And overall, I really enjoyed it. So there you go, there's your final results and your lot for this season, guys, in F1 Esports. Patrick Sipos picks up the win ahead of Alessi Di Capua. Matteo Vallejo, Aidaru, P3, 4, 5. Ate Kalpanen P6 ahead of Fehler, myself, Kevin and Mr. Anchor. And then at the points, Jakob, Bentz, Julian and Baena. So there you go. That's it, guys, for the F1 Esports Challenger Series this year. Will you see me next year? Who knows? I might be back. You never know. We'll see what happens. And hopefully F1 2021 is a better game for me. But now we're going back to the league racing, guys, and to round out the PSGL season. But if you guys enjoyed this video, then leave a like. It really helps me out. Let's try and hit over 800 likes on this. And subscribe for more daily F1 content on my channel, guys. And as always, a shout out to the members for supporting the content. I love you guys, and cheers for supporting. And if you haven't done so already, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't missed them. But that is it from me here today. And I'll see you all next time. Until then, take care. And it's goodbye from me.